Recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to pay tribute to a former congressman from Kansas's 3rd Congressional District who recently passed. Robert F. Ellsworth served Kansas in the United States Congress for 3 terms during the 1960s. He was a proud Jayhawk graduating from the University of Kansas, and he served our country admirably in both World War II and the Korean War as an officer in the United States Navy. He was known as a candid and independent-minded legislator during his tenure in Congress. A personal advisor to President Richard Nixon and a confidant of Kansas Senator Bob Dole, he also served as an ambassador to NATO and as the Deputy Secretary of Defense under President Gerald Ford. After leaving politics, he founded Hamilton BioVentures, a company focusing on investment in emerging life science technologies. He is survived by his wife Eleanor and children William and Ann, as well as stepchildren John, Sarah, and William. My heart and the heart of the 3rd District is with him and his family during this difficult time.
Gentleman's time has expired. What purpose does the gentleman from the Mariana Islands rise? Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, it's getting ridiculous. That's what Saipan Chamber of Commerce President Doug Brennan said about the Department of Homeland Security's failure to issue regulations implementing federal immigration in the Northern Mariana Islands. And I agree. It is getting ridiculous. 3 years since it was enacted, 18 months since it took effect, 2 oversight hearings, letters from congressional leaders, meeting after meeting, and still no regulations. Workers don't know what their status will be 5 months from now. Businesses can't plan for the future. It's putting the brakes on the economy, the Chamber President says. And what does DHS say? The regulations will be released when the regulations are released. There's no way for a federal agency to fulfill its responsibilities. We'll get to it when we get to it. Federal immigration was supposed to benefit the Marianas, improve the economy. Instead, it's making things worse. And we think about funding Homeland Security today. Homeland Security should be explaining why it isn't doing its job, issuing these long overdue regulations for the Northern Mariana Islands. And I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman's time has expired. What purpose does the gentleman from Missouri rise? Without objection, the gentleman from Missouri is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last night, our Republican colleagues scheduled an empty vote on the debt ceiling, a political stunt with no serious plan. Last week, the majority leader tried to use a natural disaster as political leverage in their ideological fight over the budget. And last month, and again today, Republicans propose ending Medicare as we know it to pay for tax giveaways for millionaires and giant oil companies. I'm holding another town hall meeting tomorrow, a telephone town hall, with my constituents to talk about these issues and what our national priorities should be. The Republican extreme ideological war is a disturbing trend, using national emergencies, the full faith and credit of the United States and our seniors' health care as if they're bargaining chips. The American people and the Missourians I represent deserve better. It's time we come together like adults to find serious solutions to our complex problems. It's time to stop threatening Medicare, important institutions, our national credit, and the national commitment to lend a hand to those in need, and especially those suffering through natural disasters. We can solve this without trying to scare markets or scare seniors. Let's get serious about reducing our deficit and growing jobs. I yield back.
Gentleman's time has expired. What purpose does the gentleman from Colorado rise?
For permission to address the House for 1 minute.
Without objection, the gentleman from Colorado is recognized for 1 minute.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker. And listening to some of the Republicans that were speaking here earlier today, they want to blame Medicare, early childhood education, grants to firefighters for the debt that we have, when everybody knows that at the end of the Clinton administration, this country was running a surplus. Then we had Bush tax cuts. That's about $1 trillion. Then we have a couple wars. That's $1 trillion. Then there's a collapse on Wall Street under the Bush administration. That's $2 trillion. That'll turn anybody's budget upside down. But the Republicans want to take it out of Medicare. They want to dismantle Medicare. They've never liked Medicare to begin with because it really works for middle America, for our seniors. We can't let that happen. We cannot allow them to dismantle Medicare just because of these other things. They want to protect millionaires, billionaires, and oil companies. We're not going to let them do that. And with that, I'd yield back.
Gentleman yields back his time. What purpose does the gentleman from Kentucky rise?
With
permission to address the House.